Hey everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Speak Better, Live Brighter. I'm Emma.
And I'm Leo. Today, we're talking about one of the most powerful, underrated ways to improve your English fluency through volunteering or internships, especially in English-speaking environments.
Yes. So many learners focus only on classroom or textbook English, but real-life situations. That's where the language really comes to life. And volunteering or doing internships is like a goldmine for natural conversation, listening, and vocabulary practice.
Exactly. Think about it, you're helping people, contributing to something meaningful, and at the same time, you're sharpening your English in real, practical ways. It's not just theory anymore.
Let's say you're volunteering at an animal shelter or food bank in an English-speaking country. You'll hear and use phrases like, "Do you need help with that? We're out of supplies," or "Please fill out this form." These are real-world expressions.
And it builds confidence. Because you're not speaking English in an exam setting, you're speaking it as a tool, a bridge, to connect with others. That's a huge mindset shift.
Also, internships, even if they are unpaid, can be amazing. You might help with emails, answer phones, join meetings, or assist with customer service. All of these require real communication, listening skills, and fast thinking in English.
Right. And even if you're not in an English-speaking country, you can look for international NGOs or remote internships that operate in English. There are platforms where you can volunteer from your laptop.
That's such a good point. Online volunteering is totally valid, especially post-pandemic. You might tutor kids in English, support global causes, or manage social media accounts. Whatever it is, it gets you using English actively.
And because you're working in a team, even virtually, you'll pick up on professional English, how to write polite emails, how to express ideas clearly, how to ask for clarification. It's more than just language learning, it's communication training.
Plus, these experiences can go on your resume. Employers love seeing that you've worked internationally or volunteered. It shows initiative, adaptability, and strong communication, especially if it's in your second language.
And let's not forget, it feels good. Helping others adds purpose to your language journey. It's not just, "I want to learn English." It becomes, "I'm using English to make a difference."
Yes, and that motivation sticks much longer than trying to memorize 100 new words from a list. When English becomes your tool to do something that matters, everything changes.
Another cool thing is, you end up learning vocabulary and expressions that textbooks rarely teach. Like if you're volunteering at a community kitchen, you might hear someone say, "Can you man the serving line?" or "Let's do a head count." That's everyday, useful language.
Oh, totally. And you start picking up on tone too. How people give instructions politely, how they thank each other, how they joke while working. It's the kind of stuff that really teaches you how English feels, not just how it sounds.
You also build cultural awareness. A lot of communication is about understanding the vibe, like, when is it okay to be casual? When do you need to be more formal? Volunteering puts you right in the middle of that kind of learning.
Exactly. And the great part is, you're not under pressure to be perfect. Most people in those environments are just grateful for your help. They're not grading your grammar or correcting every sentence. That makes it easier to take risks and try speaking more.
And mistakes? They are no big deal. You say something wrong, you laugh about it, you learn the right way, and then you move on. It's a very human way to improve.
It's like learning to ride a bike. You don't get better by reading about it, you get better by getting on, wobbling a bit, and eventually riding with confidence. Volunteering or internships are the same thing for English.
I remember one listener wrote to us and said they started volunteering at a local library, helping kids with their reading. At first, they were scared to speak, but just a few weeks later, they were chatting with parents, asking about the kids' progress, giving book suggestions, all in English.
That's so inspiring. And it shows how fast things can change when you actually use the language. You don't need a perfect accent or advanced vocabulary, you just need the willingness to show up and try. That's when growth happens.
And when you do that consistently, your English starts to sound more natural. Your confidence grows, your listening skills sharpen, and you start to think in English without even realizing it.
And don't underestimate the connections you make, either. People remember you. They appreciate your help. Sometimes, those volunteer jobs lead to friendships, or even job opportunities down the line.
Yeah, and speaking of opportunities, some organizations even offer references or letters of recommendation if you do a good job. That can be super useful if you're applying for jobs or schools in English-speaking countries.
True. And besides that, you also develop soft skills, like teamwork, leadership, problem-solving, all while practicing English. It's like hitting two birds with one stone, personal growth and language improvement.
And don't forget the emotional side. When you're helping others, you feel more fulfilled. That good feeling can actually motivate you to keep showing up, keep speaking, keep learning. It's a much more meaningful kind of practice than just sitting with a grammar book.
Definitely. And it works no matter what level you're at. If you're a beginner, just saying hello and helping set up chairs is already practice. If you're advanced, you can run meetings or write reports. There's always something to match your level.
Plus, real-world English doesn't always follow the rules in the textbook. People talk fast, they use slang, they mumble. Being in that environment forces you to adapt, and that's the kind of practice that actually prepares you for real life.
And even when it's hard, it's rewarding. You're learning, you're helping, and you're becoming part of a community. That kind of motivation is powerful. It keeps you going when things get tough.
So if you're out there wondering how to make your English learning more practical and real, this could be your answer. Just find a cause you care about and look for ways to contribute using English.
Whether it's helping in a soup kitchen, assisting in a charity event, or interning at a small business, it's all valuable. Just take that first step and see where it leads.
And you know what's cool? Even if you're not physically in an English-speaking country, a lot of international organizations have remote volunteering or internship roles. Things like writing blog posts, helping with social media, answering emails, tasks you can do from your laptop, anywhere in the world.
Yes. And they usually welcome help from people who speak different languages too. So you can use your native language when needed, and practice English when interacting with the team, or doing English-based tasks. It's a win-win.
Also, many NGOs and non-profits aren't focused on perfection. They care more about your passion, your willingness to help, and your ability to communicate ideas, even if your English isn't flawless. That takes a lot of pressure off.
Exactly. It's one of the safest and most encouraging spaces to grow. You're not being graded or tested. You're just doing your best and getting better by doing, not just studying.
And when you're surrounded by people who support the same cause, it's easier to speak up. You already have something in common, which makes starting conversations feel more natural.
Right? Sometimes, that's all you need, a shared purpose. It helps you forget your fear and just focus on contributing. Before you know it, you're thinking in English, speaking more fluently, and feeling way more confident.
You'll probably also pick up a lot of useful vocabulary you won't find in textbooks, real-world words related to specific industries or tasks. It makes your English more functional, more professional.
And if you journal your experiences along the way, it can become a great way to track your language progress too. Imagine looking back a few months later and realizing, wow, I couldn't express this before, and now I can.
That's such a motivating feeling. It's one thing to know you're learning, it's another to feel it through your own actions.
Plus, volunteering and internships often involve teamwork. You get used to collaborating, giving updates, sharing ideas, all in English. That kind of interaction is what really builds fluency, because it's dynamic. It's not scripted.
Yeah, and you develop soft skills at the same time, like active listening, empathy, being concise and clear when speaking. Those are powerful, not just for English, but for life in general.
And don't forget, you can actually include those experiences on your resume or CV. It shows initiative and international communication skills. That could open more doors for jobs or further studies.
Totally. It's practical learning with real-world results. And honestly, sometimes it feels easier to talk in English when you're doing something meaningful because the focus shifts away from you and onto the task.
That's a great point. When your mind is focused on helping or solving a problem, you stop overthinking your grammar and just communicate. That's where real fluency begins.
And it's okay to make mistakes in those settings. People are often understanding and even encouraging. It's all about progress, not perfection.
That's the beauty of it. And who knows? You might even make friends from different countries and practice English casually outside of your volunteering tasks.
That's happened to me before. We'd hop on video calls or just chat in group messages, and I got to see different accents, expressions, and even slang from places like the UK, India, and Canada.
Yes. It gives you a more global understanding of English. You start realizing how flexible the language is, and that there isn't just one right way to speak it.
And you know, those little casual chats with people from different backgrounds really help with listening skills too. Like, you're exposed to different speeds, tones, and vocab. It trains your ear in ways classroom learning can't.
Exactly. You also pick up cultural cues. Like how people might give feedback politely in different countries, or how humor works in professional conversations. Those things are super useful, especially if you plan to work internationally.
Yeah, and doing all of this through action, not just theory, makes the experience more memorable. You don't just learn English, you live it. It becomes part of your daily rhythm.
And that rhythm sticks with you. You start thinking in English when you're planning your tasks, or writing reports. Even when you're walking home, or waiting for a bus, you're mentally preparing what to say next time you meet your team.
That's when you know you're making real progress, when English isn't just a study subject anymore. It's your tool. Your second language becomes your second nature.
Love how you put that, second nature. And honestly, volunteering or interning in English isn't just about improving your language skills. It's about growing as a person, too.
Yeah, it builds confidence. You're doing something valuable, and you're doing it in another language. That's a huge win on multiple levels.
So if anyone out there is wondering how to really level up their English, find a way to use it in the real world. Don't wait to be perfect. Just start, get involved, and keep learning as you go.
And honestly, don't worry if you make mistakes at first. Everyone understands that you're learning, and most people are super supportive when they see you're trying. It's not about being flawless, it's about being willing to communicate and connect.
Exactly. In fact, sometimes making mistakes actually leads to better conversations. People might teach you a new word, or you end up laughing together over a funny misunderstanding. Those moments make the experience so much richer.
And they help the language stick even more. Because when you feel something during the learning process, like excitement, or pride, or even a bit of embarrassment, you remember it way better than if you just memorized a list of vocab at home.
Yeah, emotional memory is powerful. Plus, volunteering or internships also give you a chance to practice different types of English. Casual chatting with co-workers, formal emails, small talk at events, maybe even giving small presentations.
Right, it's like full immersion without needing to travel to an English-speaking country. You're creating that immersive environment for yourself, just by participating actively.
And if you ever feel nervous, remember, you're not alone. A lot of people around you are also learning new skills, new systems, or even new languages themselves. Everyone's on some kind of learning journey.
Exactly. It's a shared experience. And by showing up and contributing, you're not just learning English, you're building a network, gaining real-world experience, and boosting your self-confidence too.
Totally. And another great thing is, volunteering or internships often give you a sense of purpose. You're not just practicing English for the sake of practice, you're using it to help, to support a cause, or to complete meaningful tasks. That makes the learning feel more real and rewarding.
Yeah, that feeling of doing something bigger than yourself can be super motivating. And even the little things, like asking someone how their weekend was, or explaining how to do a task, all of those are great opportunities to build fluency.
Oh, and don't forget how much you can improve your listening skills, too. Being in real conversations forces you to process English as it's naturally spoken, not textbook perfect lines. That's a big part of what makes you feel comfortable over time.
Definitely. Especially when people speak with different accents or use idioms and slang. At first it can be a bit overwhelming, but after a while you start to pick up patterns. Your brain gets better at processing everything in real time.
And then one day you'll catch yourself responding naturally without translating, and you'll realize, wow, I'm actually thinking in English. That's a huge milestone.
Seriously. And moments like that don't happen by accident, they come from showing up regularly, speaking even when you're unsure, and letting yourself be part of the community, no matter how imperfect your English might feel.
Exactly. It's about progress, not perfection. Every conversation you have, every email you write, every instruction you follow or give, it all builds up your confidence and fluency piece by piece.
And you know what else? You start to pick up the culture too, not just the language. Like, understanding how people joke around, how they express politeness, or how they give feedback in a workplace setting. That kind of cultural awareness is a game changer.
Oh, for sure. Language and culture are so connected. When you volunteer or intern, you're kind of getting a mini crash course in both. Like noticing when people use indirect language to be polite, or how they use tone instead of just words.
Exactly. And that's the kind of stuff you rarely get from textbooks. You can read 100 grammar books and still feel lost in a real conversation if you've never experienced the rhythm and flow of everyday speech.
And let's not forget, these experiences also look great on your resume. Employers love to see that you've worked in different environments, especially international or English-speaking ones. It shows adaptability and initiative.
Yeah, it shows you're willing to step out of your comfort zone. Plus, it's an excellent way to build references. Someone might say, hey, this person was a great volunteer, hardworking, communicative, always improving.
And if you're shy about speaking English in public, volunteering is a perfect way to start small. You're not expected to be perfect, people know you're there to help and learn. It's a safe space to grow.
Totally agree. And sometimes, those small experiences turn into big ones. You might get offered a more permanent role, or be introduced to someone who helps you take the next step in your English or career journey. You never know what doors will open.
Exactly, Leo. Volunteering and internships aren't just about giving your time or skills. They're also about learning, growing, and connecting with the world in ways you can't get from a textbook. It's a fantastic way to practice your English and build real-world experience at the same time.
Absolutely. Whether it's through making new connections, learning professional vocabulary, or gaining cultural insights, it's all part of the journey. So, if you're looking for a way to boost your English and make a difference, think about volunteering or interning.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. Remember, every little step you take in these environments can bring you closer to fluency and confidence. Keep practicing, stay curious, and enjoy the process.
We'll catch you next time. Good luck with your language learning adventures, and don't be afraid to dive into something new.